Some mistakes take us to the right place. Good evening, folks. Let's be real. Nobody likes making mistakes. They're embarrassing, they're frustrating, and sometimes they cost us more than we're willing to pay. But let me tell you something. Some mistakes, some of the biggest, ugliest, gut-wrenching mistakes, end up taking us exactly where we need to be. Mistakes have a way of making us feel like we've failed, like we've taken a wrong turn that we can never come back from. They bring regret, frustration, and sometimes even shame. But the truth is, not every mistake is a disaster. Some mistakes, as painful as they may be, are the very things that push us toward the right place in life. They force us to grow, to change, and to see things we might have never noticed if everything had gone smoothly. It's easy to wish that we had done things differently, to look back and think, if only I had made a better choice. But what if that wrong choice led you to the lesson you needed? What if that mistake introduced you to a version of yourself that you wouldn't have met otherwise? The reality is, mistakes don't define you. What you do after them does. If you let them teach you, they become stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. Some of the greatest success stories come from people who made huge mistakes. They trusted the wrong people, took the wrong job, invested in the wrong thing, or walked into a situation they weren't ready for. But instead of letting that mistake destroy them, they used it. They paid attention to what went wrong, made adjustments, and moved forward with more wisdom than before. If they had never made that mistake, they might have never discovered the right path. Think about the times in your life when things didn't go as planned. Maybe you thought you found the perfect job, only to realize it wasn't right for you. Maybe you got into a relationship that ended in heartbreak, and at the time, it felt like the biggest mistake of your life. But looking back, you see that leaving that job pushed you towards something better, and that heartbreak taught you what you truly deserve. Sometimes, what feels like failure is actually redirection. People often fear mistakes because they associate them with failure, but failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every mistake carries a lesson, a piece of wisdom that you can use moving forward. The key is to stop seeing mistakes as the end of the road and start seeing them as part of the journey. If you refuse to learn, the mistake is wasted. But if you pay attention, that mistake becomes the very thing that takes you where you were meant to be. Life has a funny way of teaching us what we need to know. Sometimes we only understand the value of a mistake when we look back and realize that without it, we wouldn't be who we are today. The wrong turns, the setbacks, the disappointments, they shape us in ways that easy success never could. They make us wiser, stronger, and more prepared for the opportunities ahead. The only real mistake in life is refusing to learn from the ones you've already made. If you keep repeating the same choices, expecting different results, that's when mistakes become a problem. But when you acknowledge them, analyze them, and apply the lessons, they become the very things that guide you to where you're meant to be. Some mistakes don't ruin you, they position you. They push you out of places you never belonged and into places that were waiting for you all along. Mistakes have a way of shaking us, making us question everything we thought we knew. They disrupt our plans, force us into uncomfortable situations, and make us face truths we weren't ready for. But as painful as mistakes can be, they also hold the power to lead us to the right place. Growth and wisdom don't come from staying in comfort zones where everything is predictable and safe. They come from experience, real, messy, sometimes heartbreaking experience that teaches us lessons we never would have learned otherwise. It's easy to want life to be simple, to wish that every decision we make leads us exactly where we want to go without detours or setbacks. But that's not how life works. The reality is, mistakes are often the very things that push us toward our greatest transformations. When we step outside our comfort zones, we open ourselves up to the unknown, and in that space, we grow. We develop strength we didn't know we had. We gain insight we couldn't have found any other way. Without those challenges, we stay the same, repeating patterns and avoiding risks, never really moving forward. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in life come from moments that felt like failures at the time. A job opportunity that didn't work out, a relationship that ended painfully, a financial decision that backfired. These things may have seemed like mistakes, but in hindsight, they often reveal themselves as necessary steps. That job loss may have forced you into a career you never considered but ended up loving. That heartbreak may have led you to a person who truly values you. That financial setback may have taught you discipline and responsibility that changed your entire future. Mistakes take us places we never would have chosen on our own, but sometimes those are exactly the places we need to be. Comfort zones keep us stagnant. They make us believe that we're safe, but in reality, they keep us from reaching our full potential. It's only when we step into the unknown, when we take risks and sometimes fail, that we truly discover who we are and what we're capable of. There's a reason wisdom comes with experience. It can't be taught in theory. You can read all the books, listen to all the advice, and plan every detail of your life, but until you actually go through something, you won't fully understand it. Experience is the greatest teacher, and mistakes are often the most powerful lessons. The pain of a mistake isn't just about regret. It's about transformation. It forces you to reevaluate, to adapt, and to make better choices moving forward. The people who achieve real success in life aren't the ones who never made mistakes. They're the ones who learned from them. They allowed their experiences to shape them rather than break them. They didn't stay in the comfort of what was familiar just to avoid failure. They took risks, failed, adjusted, and grew. And in the process, they ended up exactly where they were meant to be. Every mistake carries a lesson, and every lesson carries the potential to move you forward. The only way mistakes truly hold you back is if you refuse to learn from them. But when you embrace them as part of the journey, they stop being roadblocks and start becoming stepping stones. The path to where you're meant to be isn't always smooth, but sometimes it's the mistakes along the way that lead you there. Mistakes have a way of feeling final, as if one wrong move can derail everything. But in reality, mistakes, especially in finances, relationships, and careers, often serve as the wake-up calls we need to make better choices. They may be painful in the moment, but they force us to reevaluate, redirect, and eventually land in a place that is far better than where we started. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in life come from the very mistakes we once thought would ruin us. Financial mistakes can be some of the hardest to recover from, but they also teach some of the most valuable lessons. Overspending, making bad investments, or getting into debt can feel overwhelming, yet they often force people to take responsibility and build discipline. Many people don't truly understand the value of financial stability until they've felt the weight of financial mistakes. Struggling with money can be the very thing that pushes someone to become financially literate, to budget wisely, and to build wealth with intention. Without those hard lessons, they might have continued down a careless path, never realizing how important financial freedom truly is. What once felt like failure can become the foundation for financial success, simply because the experience led to smarter decisions. Relationships, too, come with their share of painful lessons. Trusting the wrong people, giving too much without receiving the same effort in return, or staying in situations that no longer serve you can be heartbreaking. But even the most painful relationships teach something valuable. They show what real love, respect, and loyalty should look like. They reveal red flags that might have been overlooked before. They help set boundaries and clarify what is and isn't acceptable. A toxic relationship might feel like a mistake, but it can also be the thing that helps someone develop self-worth and refuse to settle for anything less than what they truly deserve. The hurt of a broken relationship doesn't have to be the end. It can be the very thing that leads to something better. Career mistakes can be just as frustrating. Taking the wrong job, working in an industry that doesn't fit, or staying in a position that drains energy and passion can feel like wasted time. But sometimes being in the wrong place is what helps people figure out where they're meant to be. A failed business venture can teach resilience and strategic thinking. A stressful job can highlight the importance of work-life balance and guide someone toward a healthier career path. A disappointing promotion or lack of recognition can push someone to take a leap toward something greater. What seems like a setback in the moment might actually be setting the stage for something far better. Mistakes in finances, relationships, and careers don't have to define the future. They can be powerful turning points that lead to better choices, stronger foundations, and more fulfilling opportunities. The key is to learn from them, to take the lessons they offer instead of dwelling on the regret. It's easy to look back and wish things had gone differently, but sometimes those wrong turns are exactly what lead to the right destination. When mistakes are seen as stepping stones instead of dead ends, they become the very thing that leads to growth, wisdom, and success. Life rarely unfolds the way we expect it to. We plan, we prepare, and we try to make the best decisions, yet somehow, things still go wrong. A choice that seemed right at the time turns out to be a mistake. A path we were certain about suddenly leads to disappointment. It's frustrating, sometimes heartbreaking, and it's easy to believe that a wrong turn is the end of the road. But what if that mistake wasn't actually a dead end? What if it was just a necessary detour leading to something better? Some of the most important lessons, the biggest opportunities, and the most meaningful growth come from moments that felt like failures at the time. Everyone has taken a wrong turn at some point. Maybe it was trusting the wrong person, investing time and effort into a job that wasn't right, or making a financial decision that backfired. At the moment, it feels like a setback, like wasted time and energy. But sometimes that wrong turn is exactly what's needed to get to the right place. Without that job that didn't work out, you wouldn't have been pushed to explore new opportunities. Without that heartbreak, you might not have realized what you truly need in a relationship. Without that financial mistake, you wouldn't have learned how to manage money wisely. What seemed like failure was actually redirection. Some of the most successful people have stories filled with mistakes, failures, and unexpected detours. They took a wrong turn, but instead of staying stuck, they learned, adjusted, and moved forward. A lost opportunity turned into a better one. A closed door forced them to build their own. The very thing they once saw as a mistake became the foundation of their success. The key isn't avoiding mistakes altogether. It's using them as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. It's easy to get caught up in regret, wondering what life would look like if a different choice had been made. But the reality is, even wrong turns serve a purpose. They teach lessons that wouldn't have been learned otherwise. They build resilience, wisdom, and clarity. They reveal strengths that may have never been discovered in comfort. If everything always went smoothly, there would be no reason to grow, no push to become better, no drive to improve. It's the challenges, the disappointments, and the setbacks that shape character and lead to breakthroughs. There are moments in life when everything feels like it's falling apart, but later, looking back, it all makes sense. The struggle made way for strength. The loss made room for something better. The mistake led to a new opportunity. Sometimes what feels like failure is actually life pushing things into place. A wrong turn isn't always wrong. It might just be the redirection needed to end up exactly where you were meant to be. Mistakes are an inevitable part of life. No matter how much planning, effort, or caution is taken, wrong choices will be made along the way. Some mistakes will be small, barely noticeable in the grand scheme of things, while others will feel life-altering. But the true measure of a mistake is not in how badly it hurts or how much it disrupts life. It's in whether or not something is learned from it. The only mistake that is truly wasted is the one that teaches nothing. Every misstep, every failure, every moment of regret has the potential to be a turning point if the lessons within it are recognized and applied. It is easy to get stuck in frustration when things don't go as planned. A poor financial decision, a failed relationship, or a wrong career move can feel like time wasted and effort lost. But the reality is that even the worst mistakes serve a purpose when they push someone to think differently, act more wisely, or make better choices in the future. The only way a mistake truly becomes a failure is if the same one keeps getting repeated. When mistakes are ignored or brushed off without reflection, the opportunity for growth is lost. But when they are used as lessons, they become stepping stones to something greater, Some of the most successful people in history didn't get there by making perfect choices every step of the way. They failed, they lost, they made decisions that seemed disastrous at the time. But instead of letting those mistakes define them, they used them. They studied what went wrong, adjusted their approach, and moved forward with a new understanding. What could have been the end of their journey became a crucial lesson that propelled them toward success. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck isn't that one group avoids mistakes. It's that one group learns from them while the other keeps making the same ones over and over. There is a choice in how mistakes are handled. They can either be viewed as proof of failure, leading to discouragement and regret, or they can be seen as lessons that provide valuable insight. A financial mistake can teach discipline and responsibility. A failed relationship can reveal what is truly needed in a partner. A wrong career move can provide clarity on what kind of work is actually fulfilling. If mistakes are approached with the right mindset, they stop being sources of shame and start becoming sources of wisdom. Growth is not about avoiding every misstep. It's about using them as a guide for better decisions in the future. No one gets everything right the first time. Mistakes are not the end of the road, they are part of the journey. The only wasted mistake is the one that isn't learned from. The most valuable lessons in life often come from the moments that felt like the biggest failures. The key is to take those lessons, apply them, and move forward with a clearer vision of what truly matters. When mistakes are used to build a stronger, wiser, and more intentional future, they stop being failures and start being the very thing that leads to success. So if you're sitting here today feeling the weight of a mistake, let me tell you something. It's not the end. It might just be the beginning of something better. The only way a mistake is wasted is if you don't learn from it. Otherwise, it's just another step on the road to where you were meant to be. Keep moving, keep learning, and never let a mistake be the thing that stops you. It might just be the thing that saves you. Thank you.